Today is November 1st, the start of a new month and eventually the start of a new year. And I've learned in my life, after some reflection these past couple days, that goal setting is super important as you start a new season. I know the biggest thing that a lot of people do is a New Year's resolution. And I've found out that none of those New Year's resolutions really work for a lot of people because they give in within the first 3 weeks. They stop trying after they don't achieve anything. And I started asking myself, how could you make your New Year's resolutions easier to achieve? And number two, a habit that you actually build into your daily life. I think the reason a lot of people fail with New Year's resolutions is because they set up these goals that they don't know how to set up in the first place. And then number two, it is a once a year occurrence, meaning that it's not a habit that's established in their daily decisions. I've found with myself that setting up goals is super important for success. And I don't just do it on January 1st, I do it almost every single day. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how you can establish goals for yourself and start winning back areas in your life. The first thing I want to talk about is month goals. Now that we're at a new month, November 1st, I think it's super important to set up structured month goals. I think a lot of people fail with their New Year's resolution because it is an overview. Let's just say you are working a 9-to-5, you're 30 years old, and you're a little bit overweight. So you're wanting to lose 20 pounds this next year. You're wanting to get a 10% raise. Let's just say you make $50,000, so 10% would be another $5,000. And then let's say another big goal you have for yourself is clean out the garage. Those are pretty poorly set up goals. And I think they're poorly set up because you have to break it down first. So the first way you break it down is month to month. And that's how I do it. So now that we're in November, I have established goals for the month of November. And they fall into broad categories like business, financial, personal, faith, and emotional. Off the top of my head, my business goal, which is technically a financial goal, is reach my first 5-figure month, which is about 10K in revenue. My physical goal would be bench 295 pounds. I hit 275 pounds just recently, so a 20-pound jump would be pretty good for me this next month. An emotional goal, I would say, would be journaling every single day. And also meditating for 10 minutes at one time. And a faith goal would be starting up a Bible study at my church. Those are the goals I have established for myself this November, and I do expect myself to complete them. The second thing I want you to understand is you have to break down your month goals into weekly goals. So if I want to complete my 10K month from fitness coaching, I have to break it down like, okay, I need to reach out to 7 people a day from this app. I need to do outreach from Instagram for 30 minutes. Or I need to call physical therapy stores. I need to call massage therapy stores, hand a flyer, give them business cards, whatever. When you create tasks to do and you can see them get done, then that brings you closer to achieving your goals. And then breaking that down even further, I establish daily goals. So before I go to work, before I go to the gym, I ask myself, in my daily journal, what are the 5 most important tasks that I need to complete today? And if I completed them today, today would become a success. And those 5 things will drive me towards my business, financial, personal, faith, emotional, all those goals. So for me, I have broken it down into a daily system. And that way, when it does become my New Year's resolution on January 1st, there's a lot more likelihood of me actually achieving those goals I've set out because I do it so constantly. When I create the goals of the new year, I have an idea of the actual level and quality of a goal I should write down because I've completed 12 month goals. So I understand, okay, I've grown this much this month, this much this month. This year, I can probably grow about this much. And I think people do it wrong because, like I said before, the guy who wants to clean out his garage, lose 20 pounds, 10% raise, he could clean out his garage the first day of the week, but then he only loses 10 pounds in the year. You've set up faulty goals because you don't actually understand what a year-long goal should be, but you do understand what it should be when you set up monthly goals, break that down into weekly and then daily, because then you can actually understand how you work, when you work, the quality of work, and the quantity of work that you put out. And the other thing I'd like to talk about when it comes to yearly goals is you should stop creating so many. When I create my yearly goals, I have just three. Normally they are business and physical goals. For example, this year, my goal was hit my first $30,000 year with my coaching business. This was also the first year I started. I wanted to compete in a natural bodybuilding show and then run my first marathon. They are so specific and they are so measurable because it's the year. They're achievable, they're obtainable. Some people say go by the SMART goals. I disagree with that. I don't think that you should keep them realistic. I think your goals should never be realistic. And the reason why I think this is because if you set realistic goals, you could achieve them in 2 months because you don't actually know your quality and quantity. But if you set out crazy goals, let's just say for me, this month, 10K month, I've never hit that. It doesn't sound realistic. But what it does is it makes me work on my business more. It makes me work with my clients more through fitness coaching. And that in return gives me more result. So I think if you're setting up goals, please don't follow the SMART metric rule. This is my personal opinion because when you set them as realistic, you actually limit yourself. I mean, the way I look at this is that we have a potential inside of us. All of us have infinite potential. Why not do your very best to maximize that every day? You're not going to maximize it when your goals for the year are chasing after cleaning out a garage, when you can do that in 3 hours. Your goals should be something insane, okay? Let's say that you're that guy. You're 30 pounds overweight. You're 30 years old working that office job. Instead, your unrealistic goal should be quit your job, replace it with your business, or instead of quitting your job, maybe you get promoted like crazy and you 2x your income. Your goal this year should not be 10% raise. It should be 100%. Double your income. Instead of cleaning out your garage, you should figure out, okay, I'm going to do something bigger than that. I'm going to clean out my garage and then also turn it into a home gym this year. That's a good goal. That's a stellar goal. I just thought about that on the spot. And then losing 20 pounds, you can do that in a year. 100% you can do that. You can do that in 6 months. So maybe it should be lose 20 pounds and then build 10 pounds of muscle. That's a good goal to have. Just so you can see, for example, create higher goals for yourself. Don't make them realistic because when you create them realistic, you limit your potential inside you. And if we've seen people like David Goggins, like Alex Hormozi, like Elon Musk, create massive amounts of success. Like David Goggins is 50 years old, running 240 miles at a time. That's not realistic. Elon Musk has created billions upon billions of a net worth. He's not special. He's a human. So don't put that limitation on yourself. Believe that you are capable of doing the exact same thing. I think that way, if you do those things, you'll be able to create your year goals actually obtainable. So when you go to create your New Year's resolution, it's much more likely that you actually complete it. Some people say don't do a New Year's resolution. I disagree. I think you should have a year-long goal, but it doesn't have to be set on January 1st. If you're starting your self-improvement journey, you're starting your weight loss journey, just create the year-long goals now. It's November 1st. Just create them now. Goals for November of this year. And then do it from November of 2025 to November of 2026. Do that because just because it starts the new year doesn't mean they have to wait for it to come. That's the other point I want to talk about. Stop waiting. When you create goals, just act. Act as hard as you can. So when it's the start of the new month, just go. And when you're creating week-long goals, yes, it's good to create them on Sunday. But if it's Wednesday, you can still create a week-long goal that goes to next Tuesday. It's okay. It's fine. It still works. Because as much as we as humans want to follow the calendar, the truth is every single day is just another day. Just because it's Sunday doesn't make it any different from Saturday. It's still a new beginning. It's still a new day, which means that's another opportunity for you to start. So just start. Stop waiting for January 1st. Stop waiting for November 1st. Stop waiting for Monday. Just start where you're at and then build from there. Because I can promise you, when a seed is planted into the ground, it does not tell itself, I'm going to wait until May 1st before I sprout my roots. No, a lot of trees start growing when a frost is coming. I've seen trees have leaves after it snows. They don't have a mind, right? They don't know. They just go. And that's why they grow. That's a bar. But the same thing is with you. You got to turn off your analytical thinking and just start building your roots. Yes, some trees die by growing roots, and then all of a sudden frost comes, snow comes. But you know what? A lot of trees make it through. A lot of trees have built up resilience, and if they have survived millions or billions or thousands, however old you think the earth is, then I know that you can too. So just start today. Don't wait until the frost is fully gone. Don't wait until the snow finally subsides. Start now. Build your resilience even more, and that will create a life that you want to have. So to recap, to actually build your goals to become more manageable and actually achieve your New Year's resolution, you first have to cut it down into monthly, weekly, and then daily goals. When you create your yearly goals, they should be no more than 3 goals following the metric of either financial, business, or physical. When you create monthly goals, they should follow 5 different things: faith, business, physical, emotional, and personal. Same thing with the weekly goals. And then when it comes to the daily goals, follow the metrics of the biggest things you need to accomplish that day that moves the needle forward in your life. I would say that would give you the most likelihood of success when it comes to writing down your goals. Also, when you write your goals, don't make them realistic. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. And the second thing is, or the last thing is, that when you set up goals, make sure you also include daily inputs. Don't just write down 20K by January 1st. Write down how you're going to do it. Okay, so set up goals of emailing this business today. Set up goals of emailing 3 businesses tomorrow. Set up goals of, at the end of the week, you want to have emailed 30 businesses. By the end of the month, 100, whatever that may be for you. That way, that gives you the most likelihood that you actually achieve the 20K by January 1st. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And if you've been on your self-development or weight loss journey and you can't seem to make any progress, or you feel like you're stuck in some area, I want you to book a free consultation call with me. Completely free, no strings attached. I want to understand where you're at and how I can help you. And then from there, if we see if it's a good fit, we can continue working together from there on out. If you like this podcast and YouTube video, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, do all the YouTube things and podcast things for more. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Peace.